My name is Matt Alioto. I'm Director of Engineering at Smyl Fitness. We're a small healthcare startup based out of Chicago. What I'd say to my younger self, I would say that everybody who first starts managing is probably terrible at it for 6 months to a year. I would say that the takeaways you took from all those books you read, younger Matt Alioto, praised publicly, criticized privately, I failed, we succeeded, and all those other instincts that you took from some of your military background before that, and the books you were reading, and what you saw, the mistakes you saw in other leaders that got you into management into the first place, that stuff was apt. You're not wrong just because you're terrible at it for the first year you try doing it. Those space principles, you're still going to be using them 10 years later. Yeah, it's like Jane Goodall in the Gorillas, right? I've lived with the tribe and earned their trust. So it's easier if you've spent a couple of quarters just coding with these folks, right, and working together on that level, and before you are in a leadership position. But more generally, probably one of the best books on management I've ever read was Radical Candor. And this stuff can vary across cultures, vary across teams and situations, but there is a way that you can give people direct and very honest feedback and have them thank you for it. And it tends to be a lot better than allowing that feedback to only arrive during, say, a formal review process. If your folks can tell that you care about them and you have their back, then they're going to feel a lot more comfortable telling you as a manager or as a leader things that are going to help you out and helping you realize ways in which you might be screwing up and not realizing. It's usually a mistake to hang your hat too hard on your title. I think if you're having interactions that say, hey, I'm a senior manager, I'm a director, you have to do what I'm saying because I outrank you, you've probably already lost the plot. I like these one-on-ones to be driven by my folks. I'll almost always come in with a list of 3 to 5 bullet points that I'll want to talk about with them. But I'm even happier if they come in with 3 to 5 bullet points that they want to talk about with me. And if all they want to do is jam on a technical concept or evaluate a design or talk about some product work we've got coming, that's completely okay with me unless I have something really urgent to talk about. But there are some things that I try to work in on my own initiative without people asking. One, I love to give people checkpoints on how they're doing, especially since even if it's not a formal performance rubric, we do have a checklist somewhere of high-level behaviors that we all want to see. Number two, I like to give kudos. I like to identify not just what made me happy, but what made my boss, the founder, happy. Cool features or behaviors or maybe ideas that they brought to the entire company. Number three, I want to make sure that they're using their 20% time, their free time or slack time to do interesting things and learn new things. I like to ask them about it, see if there are any conferences they'd like to attend, see how they're advancing their professional knowledge sort of outside of the confines of the JIRA board. When I started out as a manager at a different company a long time ago, we just ran retrospectives with Post-it notes on a whiteboard. When I started that practice here at Smyl Fitness, I knew I wanted a tool that matched how I plan to run retros. And there was actually only one that I found out there that had the combination of features that matched how I like to run these things. So first of all, it's a very easy to use retrospective board with a bunch of different templates that you can use depending on the questions that you want to ask. Number two, you give folks on your team the anonymous chance to vote on what they want to spend time talking about in the back half of the retro. You can't skimp on the discussion portion here. And then number three, the way action items work in Echometer, I haven't seen any other tool do this, but they're tied directly to the person who's responsible for the suggestion. You can provide descriptions, and they're all going to be raised as a part of the process at the next retro you run. So when I talk about creating that team environment for productive retros, one of the ways you do that is to see that when you suggested an action item 2 weeks ago and assigned it to your own boss, he did it before the next retro because he cares that you suggested and asked for this thing to happen. Last week, right before we all broke for the long weekend, the way that Echometer, first of all, puts the action items right in the tray while you're doing the retro, but second of all, prompts you to review action items from the previous retro and prompts you to create new action items. That's the process that I thought I was going to need to use discipline to establish. But I hate having to use discipline. Echometer automates that for me, so I don't even need to think about it. They're there.